So the last thing that we're going to talk about in this module is the Apple App Store. And this is worth mentioning because I think it's very unique compared to some of the other app stores that are out there. Basically, one thing that makes it so unique about this platform is it's the only way to sell your apps, essentially. There's some illegitimate ways to do it, but it's the only really approved way that you can legally sell your apps on the iPhone or any iOS device is through the App Store. And that's important because Apple controls it. So it's the App Store is browsable from either the device itself. They all have an App Store application or iTunes, and people can make purchases from iTunes. So that's important to know. And then, as I said before, this is a really important point here, I think, is that the applications have to be approved by Apple. You've got to submit your application for approval, and they have this criteria that you have to meet in order for your application to be published. So it's not an open store, like to parallel this to Android, where there's really not an approval process. If you put an app out in the Android marketplace, it's going to be out there. But with the Apple App Store, you have an approval process that may take some time, and your app may get rejected for various reasons. Another point of that approval process is also that it takes some time for it to get out there. So if you publish an app today, it might take a week before it actually shows up in the store. The costs associated with the Apple App Store, you've got a $99 a year payment that you have to make to become an Apple iOS developer. You don't have to become an Apple iOS developer, but you won't be able to actually deploy to a real device if you don't pay this $99 and become part of this program. But a good thing about this is that it gives you access to Xcode 4, a free license essentially to Xcode 4 and the SDKs and the beta SDKs as they come out, which can be really important if you're going to create an app that's going to utilize something that it'll give you a market edge to have a jump on the SDK. Like I said before, you can do free application development with a simulator, and that might be a good place to start just to get familiar with the development environment, especially going through this course. You might want to just not pay the $99 yet, just use a simulator, but you'll have to get Xcode 4. It's fairly cheap from the Apple App Store, or you can use the Xcode 3, I think is still free. And then just like I think most of the app stores out there, I know the Android market, you pay a 30% fee when you sell an application, which is pretty reasonable considering all that you're getting, the marketing and the ability to quickly deploy to a user's phone.